And I think Dan Snyder recognizes that he was losing business in Washington, that he was losing the fan base, and he needed to do some things to shake it up, to get the fans back, to change the mojo in that organization. So they have fired Bruce Allen, their team president of 10 years. They are bringing in Ron Rivera, who basically you saw how people felt about him once the Carolina Panthers fired him, how all the players supported him on social media. And I think the Redskins are hoping that this is the start of changing their ways in Washington.
You think about what's happened here. You know, we've had 4 teams that basically have preemptive strikes. You know, Washington, because they fired Jay Gruden after 5 games, wasn't it? Right around there. We had the Jets announce that they were going to bring back Adam Gase early on and settle that thing. We had the Panthers fire Ron Rivera with a month left so they could get started on their search, but then put Rivera in play to be able to line this up with a team who truly coveted him. And I think getting Bruce Allen out of the way was probably a key component to that. And so I think in a way, this domino falling makes a lot of sense. Knowing Ron, he's got a military background. He's very affiliated with the SEAL team in Virginia Beach there. And I think he's going to be announced. What we expect him to be announced this afternoon. Yeah, today. So I think this one fits for Ron, and if it fits to Ron, and the owner Dan Snyder has made the decision on Bruce Allen to move on, then they've got themselves a guy that I think is held in high esteem.
We've talked so much about a culture change, Mike, and a lot of different organizations, this one in particular. What goes into that? What factors into that? And can Ron Rivera, who we all respect, set that tone?
Absolutely. And as both Adam and Mort talked about, Ron Rivera, with his military background, he really is beyond reproach within the NFL. He's going to walk in and he'll change the culture from day one when he walks in the building, what he stands for, what he'll tolerate. I think the interesting X factor is going to be who will be his offensive coordinator, because when you look at that job, the success of Dwayne Haskins is going to mean everything. So who does he get paired with? And not to move the story forward, but presumably if Jason Garrett doesn't get a contract extension and he becomes a free agent or he's formally let go, does Jason Garrett wind up in the NFC East, possibly as a offensive coordinator with the Giants or maybe with the Washington Redskins? And I think that's a really interesting variable, because when you look at Jason and his background, not only has he played quarterback, but he's obviously coached it for a long time. I think that's going to be a really key hire for Coach Rivera. Who does he get to pair with Dwayne Haskins for years to come?
Well, what does Dwayne Haskins need?
Don't you have to know that before you hire Ron Rivera as the head coach? Like that,
I would say he does know.
That to me is, but I would hope so, because you just look at his history with offensive coordinators in Carolina. Quite honestly, it's not an awesome one. And I will tell you, look, I was with the Philadelphia Eagles when Ron was the linebackers coach there. I think the outpouring of support from former players had to get the attention of the Washington Redskins, who in terms of changing culture, they need to create an environment where the players actually trust the training staff, the coaching staff, the front office. They don't have that. And so Ron Rivera, in that regard, is a home run, fits that. But you need Dwayne Haskins to play well. And so I don't think, and I'm sure that he said, look, this is who my coordinator will be, this is who my quarterback coach will be. You need to crush that, because it's been, for him, it's been Rod Chudzinski, it's been Mike Shula, it's been Norv Turner. Like, he's run through them in Carolina. And quite honestly, their success in Carolina on offense has been because they have a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback that was their best goal line runner.
Yeah.
So that would concern me.
But Tim, like, what's a very important aspect of this is with any candidate on the important positions, we always want to see 3 to 5 names. You can never have one name, because things happen where candidate A changes his mind or he gets a better offer for someplace else. So when we hire Coach Rivera, we're going to want to know 3 to 5 names at the offensive coordinator position, at the quarterback position, as even the special teams coordinator. And that's really important, because in reality, you may not get your first choice, and you can't make a transformational hire like Coach Rivera and have all your eggs in only one candidate in terms of saying it has to be this offensive coordinator.
But that's why I think it's so critical that, like, whoever you feel really good about those candidates, because at least if you were hiring a head coach that, like if you were hiring Mike McCarthy. So if you were hiring Mike McCarthy, you go, you know what, if he doesn't get who he wants, this is Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's been coaching quarterbacks forever and has done a good job with them. That's one thing. Hiring Ron Rivera is a totally different animal. You better feel really good about the 6, the 9, however many candidates, and the fact that he's actually going to get some of those guys.
And I think, though, when you're the Washington Redskins and your culture has been what it has been, I believe you try to fix that first. And it's not necessarily a given or 100% that these quarterback guys come in and fix quarterbacks, or hiring the quarterback that has a good quarterback relationships makes them not play like Baker Mayfield played this year when you paired him with the guy who supposedly fixed him last year. And so when you're Daniel Snyder and you say, I'm going to start making football decisions, but more importantly, making people decisions, I believe he went right with that. And now Ron Rivera has to do his job as a head coach and get the right people in the building.
We have two guys who played for the Washington Redskins on that end of the table. So what is the reputation of the Redskins amongst players around the league?
No, we all know what it is. It's an owner who people believe that is more about business, more about making money than he is about the team, and also an owner who becomes a fan when it comes to making hires. And I think he stepped away from that and started to understand that, you know what, we need to get football people in this building. The one thing I know about Daniel Snyder is he wants to win. Like, he loves this team. He just hasn't had the right direction in guiding this team to where it needs to be. And I believe making this step away from Bruce Allen, finding a coach like Ron Rivera and giving him the power and allowing him to run the building will be the first step toward correcting what this thing has been.
I always felt like my two takeaways were there were players that liked him because it was like, hey, you want a new players lounge and we'll hook it up? Like, yeah, I got that. You're going to travel in some cases better than other teams travel. You know what I mean? There are certain things that he would do for players, and even guys signing big contracts that they like that.
But it would help you go around the coach, too.
That's the thing.
Well, that's the
problem. The ability to bypass the coaching staff, I thought, was always the biggest problem there.
Okay.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.